The chaos of love stories that are revealed in plain sight is what makes the world a vibrant place. And the romantic saga that Justin Bieber is a part of spins a web of intrigue that is thicker than any scripted drama, drawing you deeper into its vortex with each twist that calls into question the very foundation of forever. Picture yourself standing at the altar, your vows reverberating through a cloud of flashbulbs. On the other hand, your heart is expressing skepticism that the person standing next to you is selected in a hurry, intended to protect you from the storm of a lost love, rather than the steady gaze of true destiny. That has been the shadow that has been following Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin ever since they said "I do." It was a union that was like fireworks, but it is now flickering under the relentless glare of speculation, leaving everyone wondering whether Hailey was ever the queen of his heart or whether she was simply a placeholder for Selena Gomez, the ghost that refuses to fade away. Secrets that fans have been keeping to themselves for years are now being revealed by insiders, transforming hazy rumors into a blazing narrative that demands attention. The reason for this is that when those who are closest to the throne begin to confirm the cracks, the fairy tale begins to crumble into something that is pure, relatable, and completely addictive. The public has always been able to feast on Justin's love life, and millions of people have done so. However, the chapter that came after Selena was like a tidal wave of force. The announcement of his engagement to Hailey came just a few short months after the conclusion of that ultimately heartbreaking breakup. A timeline that was so pressed for time that it screamed rebound rather than revelation. When he was a teenager, Selena was the person who broke through his emotional barriers and became his first true love. He had publicly acknowledged her as his first true love. Nevertheless, 6 months after the breakup, he was putting a ring on Hailey's finger and marrying her in a whirlwind that caused people's mouths to wag and their hearts to race. For more information, in the eyes of the outside world, it was not a conscious decision to enter into a marriage. A frantic attempt was made to get to safety. After Free fell from a relationship that left him with deep scars, an emotional parachute was deployed to protect him. While this was going on, Selena, ever the enigma, was quietly developing a relationship with producer Blanco, thereby constructing walls against the media frenzy and emerging more powerful. The contrast between her silence and Justin's struggles in the spotlight is striking. The early stages of their marriage were not a peaceful honeymoon phase, as Justin himself admits. Rather, it was a turbulent sea. Hailey vehemently defended the timeline in podcasts and interviews, swearing on everything sacred that no lines were crossed. There is no overlap with Selena's time. Fans, armed with screenshots and side-by-side comparisons, refused to let it rest. They compared different hairstyles, vacation spots, and even the curve of a smile in photos, as if Hailey's every breath is measured against an unattainable ghost. The fundamental mystery beats to the rhythm of a heartbeat. Was this connection formed in the blaze of passion or in the grip of panic? In an effort to numb the pain of what was lost? A hasty vow, perhaps? Delve into the words that are not spoken, the interviews in which Justin's eyes become filled with a sense of melancholy, and he describes his time spent with Selena as the most memorable moment of his youth. When pressed on lingering feelings, he murmured confessions such as, "I don't know if I'm over it yet." This was in contrast to the charts and the screams of believers, which were always about her. Things that linger in the air like smoke are words, inconceivable for a man who is content in his marriage to say without causing alarms to go off. Timing is the most important narrator in this situation, and it paints the picture with bold strokes. The Selena chapter goes out of business in March of 2018. A few short weeks later, Justin and Hailey reignite whatever spark that had been left over from their previous romantic encounters. In a sprint that bypassed the marathon of healing, the couple got engaged by the summer and exchanged vows by the fall. After a love that is that profound, the majority of mortals need. Within the inner circle of confidants, there is a whisper that Hailey arrived at the wrong time as the right person, providing Justin with a sense of stability when he was destroyed. A sense of comfort that he mistook for life. It was not the explosive chemistry that he had with Selena in the past that defined his world. It's like a treasure chest of old clips has been unearthed. Justin evades questions about the sources of inspiration for his songs by making oblique references to women in general, as if uttering the name Hailey could bring about a new round of comparisons. The sidestep technique was used. Fans pounce, analyzing public appearances in which he is one step ahead of the competition. Hailey is left behind as a result of the irritation that etches his face or slams car doors in a hurry. A disconnect that goes deeper than surface squabbles is evidenced by moments that have been captured and looped into evidence. This is not merely gossip about famous people. Currently, a human tragedy is taking place in the here and now, a person who is torn between the feeling of being with his soulmate and the reality of having a partner who came into his life at a time when he was at his most vulnerable. While Hailey struggles to carve out her own identity, her road beauty empire is growing in the midst of the noise. However, every launch and every glow-up post is being shadowed by accusations of mimicry, as if success itself is suspect when it echoes Selena's vibe. With each new cryptic post, the drama continues to intensify. The lyrics of Lizzie McAlpine's ballad, All My Ghost, which is a ballad that is bleeding with the pain of loving anew while being haunted by the old, are being superimposed on selfies that Justin has taken with Hailey, an admission that is not immediately obvious or a cruel coincidence that fans take to be a request for assistance. Then, in December of 2024, Selena shocks everyone with her revelation. Beautiful in photographs that exude a sense of completion and triumph, she is engaged to Benny Blanco. The focus of attention on the internet now shifts to Justin. He was gutted, not just surprised, but wounded, as if he was watching the final door to his past swing shut forever. His silence was a thunderous void, and insiders were leaking that he was gutted. In the beginning of the year 2025, Hailey Baldwin's father, Stephen Baldwin, adds fuel to the fire by making a request for prayers for the couple. This is a paternal SOS that fans interpret as confirmation of turmoil that is brewing behind the professionally manicured facade. This transforms the placeholder theory from a fringe fantasy to a frontline belief. Pregnancy announcements ought to be a source of unadulterated joy. However, even the news that they are expecting a son arrives entangled in the web. The timing was analyzed as a form of poetic justice, or as evidence that Justin's heart is still wandering. Even as they are cradling a new life, rumors of divorce are circling around like voracious vultures. For the reason that a child is capable of repairing surfaces, but not the fractures that are caused by unprocessed grief. When anniversaries come and go, people post curated posts with fake smiles. Interviews are analyzed for hidden meanings. Every single photograph and display of the family in order to substantiate their authenticity. When it comes to evolution, is it genuine or is it just survival? In order to demonstrate her value, Hailey puts her whole being into launching lines that are able to stand on their own merit. Despite this, the echo endures, fans chanting that she never claims the kingdom despite the fact that she currently sits on the throne. A stand-in that is elevated not by choice, but rather by means of circumstance. A hint of unrest can be heard in Justin's music. Remorse and what if are reflected in the lyrics. Although Selena is successful in her chosen field, her engagement serves as a symbol of moving on, leaving Justin's camp to deal with the aftermath of the situation. There is a palpable tension in the air between them, and public appearances are becoming less frequent. An embrace that is too rigid or a glance that is too quickly averted, both of which contribute to the development of a dossier of uncertainty that helps to keep the story alive. In this digital arena, every flaw is magnified and every silence is interpreted because of the nature of the competition. The allure lies in the messiness, the universal sting of loving someone who might love a memory more than an individual does themselves. While Justin struggles to come to terms with the person he has become after Selena, Hailey's resilience in the face of unending criticism, which is reshaping her story one defiant step at a time, is a fascinating topic. Treatment sessions were rumored, but the results were not seen. The battlefield is transformed into the cryptic social media. In contrast to Justin's gloomy vibes, Hailey's posts about growth are causing discord. Members of the public are putting together pieces of a puzzle that indicate the marriage, despite its longevity, began on unstable ground. The concept of commitment is romanticized as a rebound. Nevertheless, there is a nuance to the empathy. In the midst of the storm, Hailey is not the villain, but rather the survivor who is building an empire. Depending on how you look at it, her pregnancy can be interpreted as either a symbol of hope or a symbol of hasty glue. Those with knowledge report that genuine love emerged from the mayhem. There was a gradual blaze that outlasted the beginnings. On the other hand, the public is eager to hear about the shortcomings of the origin story, the dramatic action that sidestepped the need for introspection. A post about Selena's life, Justin, radiates a sense of steadiness. Both her music and her relationships are developing further, a contrast that makes Justin's story more painful to hear. His attempts at normalcy with the prospect of fatherhood nearing were tinged with the pull of the past. The entire world is waiting with bated breath for the next chapter to begin. The use of makeup, a public meltdown, a song dedication, or an interview that is completely candid due to the fact that this is not only about famous people. This is a high-definition depiction of the anatomy of heartbreak, the difficulty of choosing oneself after having made a mistaken decision. Hailey is putting forth an effort to be the leading lady rather than the trainee. In a life that is predetermined by scrutiny, Justin is looking for peace. As soon as their son is born, the stakes become significantly higher. Are the rifts going to be highlighted, or will paternity heal? There are rumors that come and go, but the fundamental question remains: if Hailey was the destination, then she was the detour. Due to the fact that it is finished, the drama end catches on, a situation that is in a state of constant motion, leaving you with the opportunity to speculate, empathize, and yearn for a resolution that may never come, keeping the fire burning in a narrative in which love, loss, and legacy collide under the unyielding spotlight, with the promise of additional revelations, additional heartaches, and additional reasons to never turn away from the story.